Hi, it's Robert Ty here at Regan's Nissan. Today we're going to check out the functionality of the ProPilot Assist in a 2018 Rogue SL. This functionality is going to be coming next year in a few other vehicles, the Qashqai in particular. But today we're going to have a look at just how this works, and we're going to test some of the limits on it just so that you understand exactly what you're looking at with this. Now before we go anywhere, to engage it, we need to turn on our cruise control over here. So we've got a blue button right here on the steering wheel. When I do that, the driver assist display up on the front here is going to show the cruise, and I've got a few other features here. So up here I can see that I've got the adaptive cruise control is set for 3 car lengths here, but up here it tells me that my ProPilot Assist is ready to work. I do have a button down here on the dash that when I push this button, if I watch up on the driver assist display, it turns off the assisted driving. And up here my icon is gone for the ProPilot Assist. So I'm just going to turn this back on. We're going to head out to the highway and we're going to test this functionality out, and let's see how this works. So we're going to test out the ProPilot functionality on this. I'm going to engage the cruise control here. I am going to drop down to 80 kilometers an hour and we're set. So right away it's already picked up the lines. I have to have my hands on the steering wheel and need contact with it for this to work. I can already feel the steering wheel moving itself. It's going to do what it needs to keep me within the lines. Now we've got a small turn coming here. I am going to take my hands off. I don't recommend this, but I want you to see that the steering wheel is doing what it needs to, and now it's just popped up with a warning. It's telling me get my hands back on the steering wheel. It needs to know that I have control as needed. It's right there. It caught the line, it started beeping, and it pulled me back over. This is a pretty neat functionality. This is going to be great for anybody who's doing a long trip. If you're driving along and it's getting a little bit late, you may be a little bit tired. This is going to help keep you inside the lines on the road. It will only work on the highway because it needs both lines on the road in order to operate. So I'm going to signal here, and that disengages the ProPilot Assist. The cruise control stays on, but the ProPilot is off. So I'm going to take my signal off, and that beep there tells me that we are back into ProPilot mode. Now this turn coming up should be a little too much for the vehicle to handle. We'll see how it does here, and I may need to take control, which is why we keep our hands on the wheel. Nope. Around it goes. This is pretty neat functionality, and as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of contact here with the steering wheel, just enough so that it knows I'm touching it. Right. So we're going to test out some functionality, and right away, there we go. So going to handle a turn, that one was a little too fast for the ProPilot, so it forced me to take control of the vehicle, which is why your hands always need to be on the steering wheel. It does require you to have contact, and because of that contact, I was able to go ahead and get around that. Now I'm going to move lanes, so ProPilot's disengaged. As soon as I'm over, it's trying to pick up the lines. There we go, and right away, there it is again. It just disengaged it. It beeps at you to let you know when you're running into these issues and when it disengages it, and it just came back on. So that turn back there was a little too much for the ProPilot. It's too sharp a turn, so I had to take control of the wheel. It lets you very easily. Once we get up ahead a little bit here, we're going to switch lanes without signaling, and we're going to see that it disengages the ProPilot again. It's going to give a little bit of resistance when I go to do it, but it is going to switch lanes on its own. Now if I take my hands off the wheel here, it's going to pop up with a warning. It typically takes about 10 seconds. There it is there. And if I keep my hands off, now it's beeping. Beeping gets louder. And now it's disengaged cruise and the ProPilot. So everything's back set again. Back in ProPilot. Now just ahead here, we're going to switch lanes, and I'm not going to signal. So I'm just going to move over and I get some resistance and it beeps and it cuts out the ProPilot and we're good again. So that's just a bit of the functionality on the ProPilot Assist to show how it works. It is very neat. It utilizes the adaptive cruise control that we have on these, otherwise known as intelligent cruise control. And I've got a distance of 1 car length set, so it's keeping me 1 car length from the vehicle in front of me, as well as keeping me within the lines. This is going to keep me in optimal driving conditions for the speed that I was at, and make sure that I'm good and safe in case I might be a little bit drowsy. And all the beeping is going to make sure that I'm alert, to make sure that the functionality works the way that it needs to.